Hello everyone, and welcome to Key 17. Well, Yogi Theosophy, which is the name of this channel, so I'm not using my name because it's not about me, it's about the teachings. So I section them in sections, in book study sections for us, but it's really section 5 in the book, 17 in the Yogi Theosophy book study lessons. So we are in section 5 today, and this is a big one. These are getting to be so amazing, and I'm so grateful to be able to be of service in some way. And remember, it is not, I'm only a student. It is not about me. It's not about my interpretation of these teachings. I'm simply a former broadcaster. I used to be in radio and television and stuff like that. It's not important. But I want my voice to be doing something more purposeful. And I found that the application, digestion, and study of these teachings has changed my life. So much so that I must do something to be of service. There is a crushing call of compassion that I cannot explain. So here I sit, and let's get started. Remember, this book was written down 130 years ago. These teachings do not originate from Helena Petrovna Blavatsky or the theosophical movement of the late 19th century. They can be found in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Vedas, the Upanishads, in the teachings of Plato, the writings of Paracelsus, Pythagoras, in the Kabbalah, in the Bible. You can find them everywhere. But they are the root of all the world's religions, philosophies, and sciences. And there is a very important feeling to bring them out. They might not be for everybody, but I know how they have made me feel. So as a fellow student, I'm simply sharing these book studies with you so you can study the teachings yourself, because it is not about me. It is about the teachings, and it's about you. Okay, so as a student, let us go together forward through section 5. And is it necessary to pray? Written in question and answer form. This is a powerful text. Okay, Inquirer says, do you believe in prayer, and do you ever pray? Theosophist says, we do not. We act instead of talking. Inquirer, you do not offer prayers even to the absolute principle? Theosophist, why should we? Being well-occupied people, we can hardly afford to lose time in addressing verbal prayers to a pure abstraction. The unknowable is capable of relations only in its parts to each other, but is non-existent as regards in any finite relations. The visible universe depends for its existence and phenomena on its mutually acting forms and their laws, not on prayer or prayers. Inquirer, do you not believe at all in the efficacy of prayer? Efficacy, efficiency, efficacious. Remember Lily the Pink? Most efficacious in every way. So, do you not believe at all in the efficacy of prayer? Theosophist, not in prayer taught in so many words and repeated externally. If by prayer you mean the outward petition to an unknown God as the addressee, which was inaugurated by the Jews and popularized by the Pharisees. Inquirer, is there any other kind of prayer? Theosophist, most decidedly. We call it will prayer, and it is rather an internal command than a petition. Inquirer, to whom then do you pray when you do so? Theosophist, to our Father in heaven. Now this is in quotes. To our Father in heaven, in its esoteric meaning. Inquirer, is that different from the one given to it in theology? Theosophist, entirely so. An occultist or theosophist addresses his prayer to his Father which is in secret. Read and try to understand in chapter 6, verse 6, Matthew. When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Now remember, the Bible was written at a time people didn't read and digest and interpret on their own. this was doled out, and it was written in ways that people who did not read could understand. So in parables and symbols. So anyway, Theosophist again answers, entirely so. An occultist or theosophist addresses his prayer to his Father, which is in secret, okay? Not an extra cosmic and therefore finite God. And that Father is in man himself. Now, that's going to make some people freak out. I say, good. Listen to what is being said here. Then you make of man a God. Theosophist, please say God and not a God. In our sense, the inner man is the only God we can have cognizance of. And how can this be otherwise? Grant us our postulate that God is a universally diffused, infinite principle, and how can man alone escape from being soaked through, by, and in the deity? We call our Father in heaven, again in quotes, that deific essence of which we are cognizant within us, in our heart and spiritual consciousness, and which has nothing to do with the anthropomorphic conception we may form of it in our physical brain or its fancy. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of the absolute God dwelleth in you? The divine spark is within you. You are not, it is not saying, this is my interpretation, it is not saying that man is a God. It is not saying that an individual human being is more elevated than any other living being. But inside you, all of the teachers have said that the kingdom of heaven is within you. You have access to this spark, okay? You won't touch the flame. You are part of it, though. It is not just you. It is all of us. That is my interpretation. I highly recommend studying this for yourself. Please look in the notes. I've included links to the original text. There is a note here in the Key to Theosophy, right after that quote, right after that reading. And it says, one often finds in theosophical writings conflicting statements about the Christos principle in man. Some call it the sixth principle, Buddhi, or others the seventh, Atman. And if Christian theosophists wish to make use of such expressions, let them be made philosophically correct by following the analogy of the old wisdom religion symbols. We say that Christos is not only one of the three higher principles, but all three regarded as a trinity. This trinity represents the Holy Ghost, the Father, and the Son, as it answers to abstract spirit, differentiated spirit, and embodied spirit. So going back, Holy Ghost is abstract spirit, okay? Differentiated, which means recognized or ascertained spirit, the Father, and the Son, which means the embodied spirit, mankind, children of the earth. You, okay? All right. Krishna and Christ are philosophically the same principle under its triple aspect of manifestation. In the Bhagavad Gita, we find Krishna calling himself indifferently Atman, the abstract spirit, Kshetrajna, the higher or reincarnating ego, and the universal self, all names which transferred from the universe to man answer to Atma, Buddhi, and Manas. The Anugita is full of the same doctrine. Atma, Buddhi, Manas, Holy Ghost, Father, Son, abstract spirit, differentiated spirit, and embodied spirit. Yet, let no man anthropomorphize, which means make human, that essence in us. Okay? Anthropomorphize, meaning giving human characteristics to something that is not human, much less living in the clouds away from you, getting angry. I've digressed. Okay. Let no theosophist, if he would hold to divine, not human truth, say that this God in secret listens to or is distinct from either finite man or infinite essence. It's not distinct from. finite man, or infinite essence, for all are one. Nor, as just remarked, that a prayer is a petition. It is a mystery, rather, an occult process by which finite and conditioned thoughts and desires, unable to be assimilated by the absolute spirit, which is unconditioned, are translated into spiritual wills and the will, such process being called spiritual transmutation. Such process being called, listen, spiritual transmutation. The intensity of our ardent aspirations changes prayer into the philosopher's stone, or that which transmutes lead into pure gold. The only homogeneous, which means similar, same, and identical essence, our will prayer becomes the active or creative force producing effects according to our desire. This is such a big deal. It really is such a big deal. Please, please, please access these texts for yourself. Please, the link to the original, The Key to Theosophy, written down 130 years ago. I've attached a link to the original verbatim text. Back here, you will see The Secret Doctrine, The Light on the Path, The Voice of the Silence. This is the one that originally led me to these teachings. This is these have been voiced. They're available for free on this channel. That is how all of this began, as I wished, once I stumbled across these to be of service, so I started voicing them and putting them up online, so they were out of the dusty shelves, the dusty forgotten shelves, and into the digital world. Then that became further study, and then further study became further study and wishing to be of more service. So we study these texts together, but it is up to all of us to become these teachings, not to become a teacher idolized on some stage or YouTube channel where they're made into, I don't know, some kind of a guru or a second coming. You are the second coming. This is within you. This is you, all of us. So please know that I love and I appreciate you, and I get really emotional when I do these now. I wasn't even sure what I was doing. If you look back in January, I think was the first one that I did, and I still don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any idea what I'm doing. I do know that it is all-consuming. And so you will find, I'll put up the blogs over at yogitheosophy.com, and that has become a little place of where I can put these book studies, and then the YouTube channel, and then the social media outlets. So I'm using my skills as a broadcaster and a communicator to help share these teachings. I'm no different, better, or more important than anyone else. It is not about me, the person that you see in front of you. I will say that applying the teachings, though, has changed my life physically, spiritually, and mentally. I have physically changed in many ways. I don't know how to describe how important I believe that these teachings are. And their fundamental truth is compassion and unity and coexistence and love. I love you, and I'll see you for Key to Theosophy 18 next time.